Video presentation from Department of Panchakarma, Sindagi Shantavireshwara Ayurvedic Medical College, Haveri. This video is about applied Panchakarma in Vishwachi disease. Presented by BHM Arpita, final year student. Introduction about Vishwachi. Vishwachi is commonly seen affecting around 90% of adults. In this disease, severe and throbbing type of pain which radiates from neck, shoulder, arm, forearm and digits is experienced. It is also associated with numbness and emaciation of upper limbs and its muscles. Because of the present day lifestyle, food habits, excessive stress, strain, and anxiety, more people are getting these problems and the incidence of the disease Vishwachi is drastically increased by day. Vishwachi, Vedic period, a description about Tirudatta is available in Vedas, that is Vata Pitta Kapha. In Atharva Veda, a term Vatkriti is used for Vatavyadhi. Samhita Kala, the detailed description about Vata dosha, its properties, lakshanas of vitiated Vata and diseases caused by Vata dosha has been given in all classical texts written during Samhita period. Charaka Samhita, 18 Nanatmaja Vyadhis of Vata dosha have been mentioned in 20th chapter of Sthana, but Vishwachi has not been described as an Nanatmaja Vyadhi of Vata. Sushruta Samhita. Sushruta has given the detailed description of Vatavyadhi in the first chapter of Nidhanasthana. The signs and symptoms of Vishwachi has been mentioned in this chapter. Dallana. Dallana, the commentator of Sushruta Samhita, has explained about Vishwachi and has said that it is equivalent to the disease of Gridrasi. Ashtanga Sangra and Ashtanga Rudaya. Ashtanga Sangra and Rudaya both have given the description regarding Vatavyadhi. They have described various Vatavyadhis in 15th chapter of Nidhanasthana. Both Samhitas have explained about the disease of Vishwachi. Even though Vishwachi is considered as the one of the Vatavyadhi, Bhava Mishra was the first author to consider it under the category of Nanatmaja Vatavyadhi. Nirukti. Vishwachi. Vishwachi, Vis plus Achi. Vishwachi means all, universe, enter or universal. Root, derived from the root verb vis, to pervade or to enter, meaning the which pervades everything that encompassing. Achi, derived from the root ach, which means to go or to move. Nidhana. There are no separate nidhanas described for Vishwachi. The general nidhana of Vatavyadhi and factors causing Vata Prakopa are applicable. Aharaja Yetus. Gunas. Excessive intake of Ruksha, Lagu, Shita Ahara increase the Vata. All these factors which get increased by excessive intake of Ruksha Guna causes Dhatukshaya. Rasa, kshaya, katu, tikta, rasara, Vata Prakopa, Sevana Vidhi. Decreased quantity of food taken in irregular fashion, eating incompatible foods affecting Agni and malnutrition of Dhatukshaya. This leads to Vata Prakopa. Vihara Jayetus. Primary one is the Ati Vyayama, which also includes Langana, Dhavana, Plavana and Ukshepana. Dukkasaya and asana are especially described by Charaka. Improper procedure gives and more pressure over the spine and disturbs the muscular integrity, provoking Vata, which also includes Diva Sopna, Ratri Jagarana, Vega Nirodha, Ati Vyayama. Manasika Hetus, Chinta, Soka, Bhaya, Krodha are due to Rajas Guna, whereas Vata is also Rajaguna Pradhana. Thus, all these aggravate Vata. Vishishta Nidhana. One of the Nidhana that has been mentioned for the causation of Vatavyadhi is Mat and Sushruta. I have identified 107 mamas in the body, where Sushruta has elaborated all the types. While scanning the Lakshanas that has been mentioned for the Marma Abhigata, it can be seen at the Amsa and Amsafalaka. Marma Abhigata Lakshana mimics the root of the disease Vishwachi. Hence, the Marma Abhigata of above said two mamas may lead to the disease Vishwachi and hence can be considered as one of the specific nidhana for this illness. Similarly, the lakshanas that are found in the Snayugata Shalya, Amarma Snayu, Vida and Dushta, Siravyada all mimics the lakshanas of the disease Vishwachi and hence can be considered as the Vishishta Nidhana for Vishwachi. Samprapti. Due to Nidhanaka factors, Vata Prakopa occurs and it moves all over the body, and where it comes in contact with Snehadirita, Rikta, Srotas and fills them up, producing either Sarvanga or Ekanga Vyadhi. In Vishwachi, diseases that Prakupita Vata while moving all over the body settles in the Griva, making in the Adhisthana, as the Ka Vaigunya is in Griva. Vata feels those rotas doing Soshana of Slekshaka, Shleshma of Grivakshuruka, Sandhis and causing Grivakshuruka Vikara. This in turn leads to Dushti of Kandara of Bahus manifesting the symptom of Vishwachi. So you can see this in picture, the radiation of pain from cervical region to the tip of the hand. Purvarupa. No specific Purvarupa of Vatavyadhi has been given in our classic, but it is clearly mentioned that Avyakta Lakshana or the Purvarupa of Vatavyadhi. While commenting upon this word, Chakrapani mentions that Avyakta means Alpavyaktam. The description regarding the Purvarupa of Vishwachi is not available in the Ayurvedic literature. So in Vishwachi, also Purvarupa can be taken as the minor symptoms produced before the actual manifestation of the disease. By considering the above said general rule of Purvarupa in accordance to Vatavyadhi, Vishwachi being in the same group, Purvarupa of this disease may be considered middle neck pain, middle discomfort in the upper extremities, alterated sensation in the arm, and similar other symptoms of Vishwachi in its minimal severity may be considered as the Purvarupa. Rupa. Sushruta narrating about the disease, Vishwachi mentions that vitiated vata affects the kanda of the Tala, Pradesha, Pratyanguli, and Bahuprushta, causes loss of the movement of the same extremity. Dalana, commenting upon the above verses of Sushruta, feels like Tala Kandara means internal Kandara, and for the term Bahuprushta denotes external Kandara. Further, he mentions that this disease resembles Gridrasi and it may affect one arm or sometimes both. Arunadatta, commenting upon Ashtangarodya, considers Kandara as a site of Snayu Sangata and extended upon the dorsal side of the arm, and when affected by vitiated vata, forbids the activity of the arm. According to Nyachandrika, Vishwachi is of two types, Vataja and Vataja Kafaja, just like Gridrasi. On the basis of the above said verse of the Nyachandrika, the signs and symptoms of Vishwachi may be understood in the prevalence to Gridrasi. Gridrasi is a disease that occurs in the lower limb of which, while Vishwachi, an illness that occurs in the upper limb. For the disease Vishwachi, it can be said that the pain starting from the griva and radiating to Amsa, Bahurprushta, Prakshotrapushta, and Hastatala in successive order is the symptom, along with the Stambha, Muhuspandana, and the pain being Ruk or Toda. Bhava Prakasha and Yoga Ratnakara. Some signs and symptoms like Dehasyapi, Pravaktakara, Janu Urasandhi, Spruhana, etc. are specially characterized as Vatika Kritrasi Lakshanas, and this can be considered for the disease Vishwachi even, but the difference being in the site. Lakshanas like Tantra, Gaurava, Arochaka, Mukha Pareksha, Bhaktadvesha, etc. as the symptoms of Vata Kafaja Gridrasi. Similarly, references are available in textbooks like Madhava Nidana, Bhava Prakasha, and Yoga Ratnakara. These can be considered to the disease Vishwachi. The function of the arm, leg, Grahana, and Akunchana will be affected in the illness of Vishwachi. Clinical symptoms of Vishwachi as follows. Talam Pratyangulaniam Yah Kandaraha Bahurprushtatah Bahyo Karmakshayakari Vishwachi Cheti Chochate. Pain often has a neurotic quality described as throbbing, burning, stabbing, electric shock like, and aching. Sometimes it is a cramping paresthesia often felt in the fingers. This description of pain are available in our source classicals as Yadya Bhedana. Weakness and occasional tenderness occurs. The Pratyamika Lakshana of Vishwachi is radiating pain from the Bahu, Prishta to the Hastatalam and Pratyanguli, Tivra Ruja Dalana, Stambhana, Ruk, Toda, and Spandana. Upashaya, Anupashaya, and Sadhya Sadhyata. Upashaya for Vishwachi has not been mentioned particularly, hence the Upashaya that has been mentioned for Vatavyadhi has to be considered as Upashaya of Vishwachi. The Nidana mentioned for Vatavyadhi and Vishwachi are considered as Anupashaya. Sushruta considers the Vatavyadhi as Mahagada, Vagbhata calls it as Maharoga. Most of the Acharyas have said that Vatavyadhi generally are difficult to cure. The specific prognosis is not been mentioned for Vishwachi. Therefore, the general prognosis of Vatavyadhi may be taken as the prognosis of Vishwachi, that is, Vishwachi with vitiated Vata seated in Majjadhatu and accompanied with Kudavata, Angashosha and Stambha may or may not be cured even after careful treatment, but its condition occurs in the strong person is of recent origin without any associated diseases, then it is curable. Treatment for Vishwachi, that is Chikitsa. Vitiated Vata that originates from Pakvashaya afflicts Astidhatu. Further, vitiating the Snayu and Kandara produces the diseases. Hence, the procedure should be mainly aimed at the rectification of imbalanced Vata dosha. This is the line of treatment for the Vataja Vishwachi. But in the case of Vata Kaphaja Vishwachi, in the final treatment plan, it should be specify the Vata as well as Kapha dosha effectively. Considering the above said factors, some of the important principles of the treatment are discussed below. Snehana. In the case of Vishwachi, Bahya Snehana may be performed in the form of Abhyanga, Avagaha, Parishika, etc. This treatment should be judiciously used if there is an involvement of Kapha dosha. Svedana. The cardinal symptom of Vishwachi is Shula and Stambhana in the Bahu. The property of Svedana is Stambhagnya, Gauravagnya and Shitagnya. Hence, the Svedana Chikitsa is the best restricts the Stambhana and Shula. Svedana also helps in the liquefaction of doshas, thereby rectifying the Margavarana or clearing the Srotas. Among the different forms of Svedana procedures, Nadi Sveda may be efficiently performed in the patients of Vishwachi. The present study on Griva Basti is Sneha Yukta Sveda. Virechana. Mrudu Virechana has been advised in Vatavyadhi, also adapted for Vishwachi. Siravyadha. It is seen that Vishwachi is characterized by affliction of Rakta along with Vata. Several authors have advised Rakta Mokshana by the way of Siravyadha in the treatment of Vishwachi. Sushruta and Vagbhata have advised Siravyadha for this illness. The Sira located about 4 angula above or 4 angula below the Kurpara Sandhi is selected for procedure. Marma is a samgata of Sira, Snayu, Asti and Sandhi. This may lead to injury to the illness and also in the Sira, which are the parts of Marma, so it may further causes Avarodha. To relieve Avarodha, Siravyadha may be indicated. If the regular treatment with Shadvidoprakrama does not relieve any of the diseases, then one should consider the involvement of Raktadhatu in the pathogenesis and is the best treated by Rakta Mokshana. This rule is also applicable in Vishwacharoga. References: Sushruta Nidana Sthana, 1st chapter, 35th shloka. Ashtanga Hridaya Nidana Sthana, 1st chapter, Charaka. Chikshasana, 20th chapter, 18th shloka. Vritlayi, 26th, 578 to 584. Charaka Datta, 22nd chapter, 172 to 180th shloka. Agnivesha Charaka Samhita, Acharya Jadavit Trivikramji. Chaukamba Publication, 2001, Varanasi, 738, page number 113. Dravyaguna, volume 2, Dr. Niteshwar.